Hello, author J.E. Mueller here with another review for the Indie Sci-Fi Fantasy Author Battle. Ooh, this competition's getting fierce. At this point, I believe I saw that 60 of the 100 books have been read, and here is number 3 of my 5. So, today I am bringing you A Hut in the Woods. And boy, I have quite a few opinions about this book. This is another fantasy book. The cover, well, it's definitely a cover. It does not look like they took the time to get a proper cover artist. So I am going to leave that at that. This book, when you break down the concept, it actually sounds really interesting. I like the idea of gods being trapped, having temples devoted to different gods, having your priests and priestess, trying to do something to save them, to fight for them. I love that concept. Those are some of my absolute favorite tropes. There is so much amazing stuff about that. This book just failed to hit it off for me. This book has a lot of telling. Not much showing is actually incorporated into the text. You're just told everything, like Titan is God. Titan is encased in ice. Kit is training to be a priest. Kit learned a lot at this temple. Don't know what she learned. Don't know anything about the magic. Don't know why Titan or any of the other gods are potentially trapped. So it gets really awkward really fast with a lot of that. There's not a lot of consistency in the environment and what happens. And Kit just feels like a puppet, those marionette types on a string just going across the way the author wants it. It doesn't feel natural or organic at all. I really don't know what to say. Like, Kit, she's supposed to be this badass priestess and do all this stuff in the name of Titan, and it's never actually told what she can do exactly until it comes up, very conveniently at that. She can randomly heal. She randomly shoots an icy wind. You you're told that she practices forms and that she can fight, but it's not actually shown. You're just told all these things. There's a lot of adventuring here. This book feels like it's actually like 8 or 10 books all put together in one, just all these adventures of Kit. And like there's an entire novel missing that explains this universe, explains this magic system, tells you what is going on in this world. It feels like you're just thrown in there, but this is the first book of the series. So I'm not sure if the author was trying to be mysterious here, if the author had meant to incorporate things later, but it's an entire book and you don't know any of the basics of what's going on in this universe. And the title, A Hut in the Woods. So it took, I believe it was at the 73 to 75% mark through the ebook, where you finally get to see this hut in the clearing by the woods. And you're like, okay, cool, we finally reached the title. And it was a lot of cheap filler. She gives this wolf pelt to a witch and told to come back later, and just no reason why, and she just does it because she knows this is a good woman she can trust. And that's how all these people are. Either the main character knows they're good or knows they're bad, and there's no reason for her to know any of this. And to make sure we know who the bad guys are, the author uses a lot of rape tropes. He has everyone be like, ooh, I'm gonna get you in bed, and things like that, and it feels extraordinarily out of place. Like, why? And Kid doesn't react at all. Even when the city guard is talking to her like that, and she immediately sees the commander later, it's not brought up, it's not reacted to. It's like, okay, did you just want to get away with this rape context? What is going on here? There's no reason to have this here. And it was a tough book to get through. There is a lot of good thought that can be pulled from this book, especially broken down. The concept itself is interesting. So I would give it a 2 out of 5 stars, but it's not a book I can recommend. All the characters talk like they're children. The main character, who's supposed to be about 16, talks like she's 8, and all the adults are equally as childish, and it doesn't fit or feels right at all. Trying to think of what to even talk about. There's a lot of different things, and my written review goes a little further in depth about the different things with context, the jarring motions, the puppetry going across. A lot of it feels like weird filler adventures, but there's no character development coming from this. There's no world building. You hear all these different things about there's different races, there's this and that, and with most of the characters not being described, what's the point? And the ones that are described are usually described to insult. So again, what is the point of that? It is really, the best way I can describe this book as a wannabe B-movie that just didn't hit the nail on the head. It feels like the first draft of a book, that it still needs to go through revisions and structuring, that it still hasn't seen developmental edits or betas, that the author had a couple of friends look over it, and of course I know this very well. Having friends tell you it's good doesn't necessarily mean it's actually good. So yeah, I have zero desire to continue reading any of this series or read anything else from this author, especially with the awkwardness of the way he characterizes his female characters. And yeah, sorry, no thanks. This just is enough for me, and hopefully with a little bit more reviews, the author can get an idea and rebrand and rebuild things. Definitely needs a little more insight, a little more show, and yeah, definitely work on that developmental and the cover. Covers definitely are the biggest important thing about books. As a lot of people know who've seen my first video, I absolutely loved that cover. The book wasn't edited at all. It definitely needed a lot of help, but at least that cover drew me in. There wasn't a single thing about this book that drew me in. So, 3 out of 5 done. Let's see how the rest of the indie sci-fi fantasy author battle goes. Until next time,